This is Start, Grow, Manage, where we help entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and freelancers achieve the impact, freedom, and wealth you imagined back when you started your company. At Start, Grow, Manage, our tools, practices, and processes help you engage, energize, and execute on building a business that empowers an extraordinary life. Learn more about our programs and how they can fuel your fire at startgrowmanage.com/learn more. Let's go.
Hello, and welcome to the Start, Grow, Manage podcast. I'm Joe.
And I'm Jeff.
And today, Jeff, I want to talk about products and what a product is. You know, I was working with a young technology company, and they worked hard on selling me, on selling time. You know, they were like all the time hustling, trying to sell time.
As most are doing, right?
Well, you know, that's what happens, right? And basically, they had a business built around billing time and materials. And the problem was that they were tired, man. They were exhausted. They were working 100-hour weeks, and they weren't capturing all the time, which really sucks. So they were always hustling to track every single hour. They were, you know, as we're recording this, like right before Thanksgiving, I remember like any time that I work, when I started working with them, like around the holidays, they were like, oh, thank God there's a holiday. Oh, there's a snow day. There's a snow day. I can catch up. Oh, there's a holiday. I can catch up. I can actually record on I can get my billing
out. I can spend time on the business because I have a holiday, right?
It was that they were glad to have a holiday just so that they could spend time billing and catching up and doing all the stuff because that's what they had. And they desperately wanted to break out.
It's such a sad state, right? I mean, you know, like if you're there, you're like, yay, I have a holiday. I got to be honest with you, Joe, I feel a little bit of that. Like I'm actually looking forward to Friday because I can do some writing. And I think that's something we got to get out of too, right? Like if you're looking, we got to spend time with our families and not just writing. But I get it. I get where people are, right?
And it's it's when it's the beginning of the business, that's okay. But these guys they were young, but they've been around long enough that this shouldn't have been an issue anymore, right? Yeah. When you're a young business, you know. And the thing is that they desperately wanted to get out of it. So I told them that they had to standardize and create a repeatable process. They had in my language,
the way they had to create a product, right?
Right, a product. But when I brought it up, they said, no, we're a service company. We're not a product. No, we're not a product. We don't have products. What we do is service, you know?
Right. Which is the thing that we hear all the time, right? No, I don't have a product. I do services. I have a service provider. And you know, this is very prevalent in MSPs, but you hear it all over the place. And you know, the problem at the end of the day is that service providers use the term service as an excuse to not define their processes, not define their customers. It's an excuse that keeps them working long hours for very limited rewards, right? So invariably, when you charge by the hour for a service, you end up doing more work than you can bill for. So this is interesting, right? I've every single service business that charges by the hour, I've seen this. Like big time law firms that are charging $1,200 an hour, you know, they measure the actual rate at which you're able to charge those $1,200 an hour. So they say to their client, we're going to charge you $1,200. We're going to charge 10 hours. They expect the client to talk them down to like 8 hours or 7 hours, right? So there's in all of these businesses, what they're doing is they're creating a constant negotiation after the fact. So you've done the work. Now you're negotiating with the customer about whether the work you did, right,
was worth the money that you charged for it,
and the effort, right?
Yeah.
So I don't feel like that work was worth the effort. So when you deliver the service, right, the metric is the hours, and the client is always evaluating, is that number the right number of hours? By the way, we have this problem now with someone who's doing services for us. And in this case, like I'm the customer, right? They charge us by the hour. And I'm looking at the number of hours. I'm like, that's crazy, man. They just built a website. Why is it that many hours? And I think, oh, that can't be right. And I want to talk to them about that. Right. And the challenge is, maybe if they just told me like it was going to, like, the total amount of money is probably fine. But I'm like, wait, why did it take all these hours? I want to know, like, maybe, like, did they really spend that much time?
And that's
the problem, right?
Yeah, and that's what happened with my client. They developed a masterful system for capturing hours. Like, they ended up in the same boat. Like, you're having the same complaints that their clients were having, right? Because 100%. They're reporting on every detailed bit of work, and they're putting time into better reporting and getting a leg up on the negotiation and all that.
So, you know what's funny about that, right? Is that so many companies spend so much time and effort on managing how they're going to track their time and effort, on managing time and effort, and then they'll say that it's too much work to actually define a process to deliver, right?
Yeah.
But they'll spend inordinate amounts of time.
See, but they don't, this is the blind spot, is that they don't see that that's also part of the work.
Right.
Like, I worked 10 hours and it took me 15 hours to figure out how to track those 10 hours.
10 hours. But and it's interesting. But like I'm saying, this is a problem that all time and materials businesses face. So accountants, lawyers, break fix technology companies, right? It all comes back to negotiating costs. And the way out is always the same, Joe. It's always the same. Like you said with your client, create a product. Right? Because when you create a product, that means that you're identifying a need, a problem that somebody has. You're figuring out how you address that need, and then you define your process to deliver the solution, and you deliver that same work repeatedly. Now, there's a really interesting thing that happens when you do that. And a lot of people in the break fix world don't understand this. But what happens is that when you specialize, your cost to deliver decreases because you go up that learning curve. You become smarter at delivering that thing that you do. You actually end up putting less effort into delivery, right? You're putting less time and materials into it, but your value is higher because you're delivering faster and more reliably, so you can actually increase your price.
Yeah.
So from a buyer's perspective, we should always be buying products as well, because we know that, they're really good at delivering their product. Whereas if somebody's billing time and material, they have an incentive to not be good at what they do, and to just bill hours and time. And that is the secret to growing your business and scaling your business, right? That is the secret, is to get out of that, to get into the product space. And good businesses that escape this endless hustle are ones that have clearly well-defined products. And I'm going to say, the thing, all starts with knowing your avatar.
Oh, this guy, he is whoever's check cleared. Forget about avatar. Now, we talked about this until my face hurt, man. Like, my face hurt, like the veins in my face were popping out, and I couldn't get this guy to understand. That
his client was,
he's like, I'm agnostic. I'm just agnostic. I'm the agnostic MSP. Okay.
Agnostic, Joe. Agnostic is where MSPs go to die.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot be agnostic, right? And also have a life. Like, you can't do it. So if you're agnostic, you are going to exhaust yourself.
And that, that's what's interesting. I stopped working with that guy years ago.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's been like 4 or 5 years. And I ran into him not too long ago, and he's still in the same hustle. Working nights, working weekends, looking forward to holidays to catch up, same 3-4 people in the company. then the same 3-4 people keep recycling and the burnout and the same stuff.
That's so interesting too. Yeah, because you're going to have the same 3 or 4 people. They're going to come in. It's all part of that entrepreneurial spin cycle because they come into the business. And everybody's gung ho and ready to go for a while. But then it's like your second Thanksgiving, and you haven't had a holiday in like 2 years, and you've been, burning the candle at both ends 20 hours a day. Like, okay, I'm tired. Yeah. And the only way out of it is to leave, right? Like at the beginning, you're hustling to create a product. Like if you look at where we are, like I said at the beginning, I'm almost in that space this weekend, but I'm not going to work on Friday. Just so everybody's clear, I'm fighting it. It's just my tendency is to want to do it. But like, at first you're hustling to create a product. But if you don't ever create that product, then everybody who comes in, they just have to hustle. If you've got a product, you can show them, guys, this is the product that you have to deliver, and they can become efficient at it themselves. Well, right.
One of the things that I liked about what you said earlier about having an avatar, right, is you said that the cost of delivering decreases. Well, the only way to really deliver that cost, especially in the technology space, any avatar you pick, the complexity of their infrastructure is such that if you do a different one and then a different one, then a different one, it's so messed up. It's so crazy. It's so complex. Yeah. So if you figure out how to fix one problem for one person, you can do that over and over, decrease the cost, because you have a template for everything. You know how it works. You know how to do it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
No, it's awesome. And the problem is when people associate price with cost and like, well, but if the cost goes down, the price has to go down. But what's so cool is that when you have a product, the cost goes down, but the price can actually go up. And because you are delivering more value, but you can't do it if you're agnostic, man. I love this. Agnostic, where MSPs go to die. So the message, right? Create a product. Don't hustle, man. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. I guess everybody's going to listen to this well after Thanksgiving, but yeah. I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving.
I hope so.
Didn't enjoy your thing, if you didn't have time off, right? If you weren't doing things that you like, you have to kind of go back to why is that? How is my business structured such that it doesn't let me get out of the business? And 9 times out of 10, you don't have an avatar defined, you haven't defined a product, and you're in that break fix space where you're charging time and materials, and every moment counts, every minute counts, and you're just stuck in the hustle, right? And there is a better way, and that comes back to defining your
Stop hustling.
Stop hustling. Define your product. That's the way to do it. So I think we'll leave you with that. Go, think about what your product is. Don't be the guy who's 4 or 5 years later.
Look, this guy is like, oh yeah, we're gonna work New Year's Eve, and we're gonna
it's gonna be great. So don't be that guy, right? New Year's Eve is for drinking and celebrating. New Year's is for nursing hangovers. All right, yes. We're clear on that. It's not for catching up on email. And on that, remember
that you are loved.
And we will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining us. And a special thanks to our subscribers. Consider becoming one right now and tap into our insights and instincts to help drive your business vision and success. Remember, you didn't start your business to feel frustration. You started it for freedom. We can help you discover the impact, freedom, and wealth you always imagined. Learn more at startgrowmanage.com/learn more.